Hello guys and welcome back to this YouTube channel. And in today's video I will be discussing Sebastian Vettel's career and offer my opinions on the four-time world champion. But firstly let's go through some stats. Sebastian Vettel has been reigned supreme in a Grand Prix 52 times, taking 55 pole positions, 36 fastest laps, 111 podiums as well as 4 prestigious world championships. And that for me just merits great hierarchy status for Sebastian Vettel. To accomplish that in your Formula 1 career is undeniable, and the fact that people target Sebastian Vettel for me is unfathomable. But let's go to 2007 and 2008. Now Sebastian Vettel made his race debut at the 2007 US Grand Prix where he picked up 8th place for BMW Sauber. Now, although he hardly got the best out of the car, it was his first race, and to get points in your first race is an unbelievable achievement. Then the German followed that up with a 4th place finish for Toro Rosso at the Chinese Grand Prix, and yes, there were multiple retirements, but this just underlined Vettel's talent. And then of course we have the Italian Grand Prix of 2008, and my word, this was the breakthrough for Vettel. In a Toro Rosso, which given wasn't anywhere near the worst car on the grid, but wasn't anywhere near the best, he got pole position and dominated the race in extremely wet conditions. That normally comes down to experience to win that race, but he scarcely drove one season in F1 at that time. That, again, just underlines Vettel's talent. Yes, Vettel's teammate Sebastian Vettel qualified P4, but Vettel still had to out-qualify him, and to be honest, the entire weekend he blew the entire pack away. That drive alone earned him a seat at the Red Bull team in 2009, and throughout the course of 2009 I felt like Red Bull did have the quickest car, but inexperience did cost Vettel the title. But fortunately for Sebastian Vettel, we saw glimpses of what would be in the future with him dominating races like at Silverstone and Suzuka. And to be honest, it was his first proper chance at challenging for a world championship, so he didn't actually do half bad in 2009. The next stage in Vettel's illustrious F1 career was those dominant days in 2010 to 2013, where he won 4 consecutive world championships. In 2010 he did become the youngest ever world champion, and yes, he did make mistakes, like at Turkey, which was for me clearly his fault. But at the end of the day, reliability cost him loads and loads of points, and he still came home to win the championship. The qualifying speed Vettel produced in 2010 was breathtaking. On a number of occasions he blew the field away on one lap pace, and proving why he was going to just merit such great success in the future. In 2011 Sebastian Vettel was even more dominant, and this was without reliability errors. Vettel just blew the field away in terms of just quality the entire year. And 2011 for me was Vettel's most well put together year, as he had a combination of supreme racecraft, immense qualifying pace, and just overall just brilliant character on the track. Things wouldn't be so dominant for Seb in 2012. He just about won the championship by 3 points to Ferrari's Fernando Alonso. And although Vettel wasn't the best driver in 2012, I felt like Alonso and Hamilton were better that year. At the end of the day, Vettel felt more as a team player at Red Bull and felt more engaged at the team. And for me, that was what won him the World Championship. And of course, we have 2013, and it was basically a mirrored version of 2011, just so dominant from not necessarily start to finish, but from the summer break to the end of the season, winning 9 consecutive Grand Prix in 2013. However, people questioned what Vettel did in those 4 consecutive years, stating that he did have the quickest car, but at the end of the day, his teammate Mark Webber had the quickest car, and Vettel outscored him by like 200 points in 2011 and 2013. So he blew him away, so what else do you really need to say? It was clear to see that Red Bull were definitely favouring Vettel, especially like in 2010. That for me was the most obvious when they were head to head. But at the end of the day, I feel like Vettel felt more engaged within the team, which I discussed earlier. And for me, that just earned him, not necessarily those bragging rights, but Red Bull saw him as a more precious treasure to the team. a new teammate in Daniel Ricciardo and new regulations in 2014 for that season really did not play into Vettel's hands. Red Bull lost the title for the quickest team in F1 and Sebastian Vettel lost his title as the best driver in Formula 1 for a season. Vettel was immensely disappointed in 2014, and although a contract-triggered performance kind of maybe have led to this, but at the end of the day, Vettel still underperformed massively, and it doesn't really help your reputation in the Formula 1 paddock, and Vettel just should have given so much more. Daniel Ricciardo in his first season at Red Bull comfortably beat Sebastian Vettel. That is the end of the story. However, people are making some ugly statements about Ricciardo v Vettel in 2014. People believe Daniel Ricciardo is a better driver than Sebastian Vettel just because he beat them in their only season as teammates. Which for me is absolutely fine, but consider this. That means Daniil Kvyat is a better driver than Daniel Ricciardo because he beat him in their only season as teammates. Yes, reliability was a factor, but at the end of the day, Kvyat was better than Ricciardo in 2015. That also means Nico Rosberg is better than Michael Schumacher just because he beat him in each seasons they were teammates. And it also means Alain Prost is a better driver than Ayrton Senna because he scored more points whilst they were teammates. And despite the fact that the latter is definitely up for debate, these people would not agree with these statements. So where do you draw the line in terms of consistency? Vettel moved to Ferrari for 2015 and was absolutely brilliant that year, taking 3 wins, 1 pole position and taking the fight to Nico Rosberg for second in the championship in a much inferior Ferrari. In 2016, Vettel was making consistent mistakes again, but he picked himself up for 2017 and was a genuine threat for the championship. But much like 2018, he was beaten by the better man, and that better man being Lewis Hamilton. But talking about Vettel's F1 career, he has been magnificent from start to finish. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for what has been actually a legendary career. He is easily in the top 10 best drivers of all time. Not top 5 for me, but definitely in the top 10. And has been the only real threat to Merckx and Hamilton's crown in the last 2 seasons. There are people out there that say Vettel only wins because he has the best car. But for me, when you talk about that, you've got to remember Vettel drove a Toro Rosso to victory in 2008. And yes, there were loads of factors that just came into play. But at the end of the day, Ricciardo and Verstappen drove for Toro Rosso and they never ever got close to winning a race for them. I do feel though that Sebastian Vettel should have achieved so much more in his F1 career just if he put his head together and minimised the mistakes he ends up committing to. Because they cost him the championship probably in 2018 and definitely in 2009, but maybe not 2017. Let this all sink in, and Sebastian Vettel has had a supreme F1 career, winning multiple races, gaining loads of pole positions and obviously those 4 world championships. Do I think he's better than Lewis Hamilton? No, I just think he lacks that raw pace and natural ability on the track, but he is still easily in the same bracket as the 5-time world champion and at the very least is the 2nd best driver on the current grid. Love him or hate him, he is an F1 legend and is a great character to this sport.